Bienvenidos a la presentación de el participio pasado y el presente perfecto. El presente perfecto es tiempo número 6. So this lesson will explore the idea of the past participle in Spanish, as well as tense number 6, which is present perfect. So if you're sitting and wondering, wait a minute, what are the other 5 tenses? That would be the present tense, the preterite, the imperfect, the present subjunctive, and the imperfect subjunctive. So that's 5 tenses, and this is número 6. So, metas de la lección se dice goals of the lesson. So, goal number 1 is to review the formation of the present participle in gerund, which is the gerund. So we're going to be spending most of the lesson talking about the past participle, but I kind of want to remind you, you already know what the present participle in Spanish is. That's also known as the gerund. So I'm just going to briefly remind you of that. You're also going to learn the formation of the Spanish past participle, including irregulars. There are irregular past participles. And then after we explore the past participle and what it is and how it's formed, then we'll use that past participle in conjunction with a helping verb to create the present perfect, which is the English equivalent as have or has verbed. So we'll talk about that as well. And then we will also need to discuss pronoun placement for the present perfect tense. So we need to talk about where reflexive pronouns, direct object pronouns, indirect object pronouns, double object pronouns, all those things, where do they go when we're dealing with the present perfect tense? Okay, so here's a reminder of what the present participle is all about. The present participle in Spanish is also known as the gerund, el gerundio, el participio presente. So that is equivalent of ing. And ing in Spanish we form by chopping off the AR, ER, IR, and adding ando or yendo. So that's what the present participle is. So for example, hablar, we use hablando, comer, comiendo, salir, saliendo. Just to remind you, these rarely stand alone. You usually use them with a star. Sometimes you can use them with seguir or continuar, like keep on doing something. But it's only reserved for what is happening right this moment. So this is not used as much as it is in English. This goes back to a lesson that we had last January. So this is, when we say, I'm watching a lesson in Spanish, that's what's happening right now. Estoy mirando una lección de español. So there's a review of the present participle. This lesson, again, will explore the past participle as well as the present perfect. So before we get into the past participle, I kind of want to just real quick talk about what is the present perfect. The present perfect is have or has verbed, okay? So just an overview, and we'll come back to this concept and explore it more deeply, is we form it in Spanish by saying the present tense of haber, which we'll discover what that is towards the end of the lesson, plus the participio pasado. So it's the present tense of haber plus the past participle. And when do we use the present perfect? What do we try to say in English? It's you have or someone has done something. So I have eaten, we have studied, Elvis has left the building. That is the present perfect in English, and so we'll learn how to do that now in Spanish. So before we go any further into the present perfect, we're only going to focus on the participio pasado. Let's learn how to form that first before we put the two parts together, okay? So that's what we'll do now. So basically the past participle is going to be translated as have an ed or an en. There are a lot of irregulars in English, okay? So we'll work a little bit on the translation. So first of all, let's think about how do we form this in Spanish. All right, so AR verbs, we chop off the AR and we add ado. ER verbs, we chop off the ER and add ido. And IR verbs, we also chop off the IR and add ido. So for example, hablar, we chop off the AR, hablado, se dice spoken. Remember, we don't say speaked. So to get to the correct past participle in Spanish or in English, you almost need to say like the have part, which will be haber. You kind of have to put that in your mind and go, okay, it's not speaked, right? It's spoken. Same thing with comer. It's not I ate. We're going to be putting the word have or has in front of it. So comido, se dice eaten. Vivir, vivido, lived. So if you imagine those English participles, spoken, eaten, lived, with the word have or has in front of it, that's how we get to the true translation in Spanish. Okay, so there's going to be a couple slides in this presentation that allows you to practice. So here's 10 verbs. Now, don't be intimidated by ear. Ear is completely regular in the past participle. You just chop off the IR and you'll end up, just putting that ending, which is ido. So why don't you go ahead and pause the video, but before you do, make sure that you write the Spanish participle as well as give the English translation. Give that a shot, all right? And then pause it, and when you come back, I'll verify your answers. Okay, so number one, like I said, ear, it's totally regular. So we're just going to get rid of ear, and we actually add the IR ending, which is ido. Se dice gone. I have gone, yeah. Okay, número dos, pagar, regular AR verb, pagado, paid. Number three, dar is dado, se dice given. Salir, chop off the IR, add ido, salido, left. Vender, vendido, sold. Perder, perdido, lost. Preferir, preferido, preferred. Dormir, regular, dormido, slept. Ser is also regular. Just chop off that ER. You're going to get sido, and that's going to be been. I have been. And then comentar is comentado, se dice commented. So there's an example of 10 just regular verbs. And again, those normal suspects like ser, ear, dar, that usually in a lot of tenses or a lot of verb formations, we have to kind of go, wait a minute, that's got to be irregular. Actually, now, no, they're regular, okay? But there are irregular verbs, and in fact, there are 15 of them. So you want to get ready to write down 15 irregular verbs, okay? So you'll see the infinitive, the Spanish participle, and then the English participle for 15 verbs, okay? There's going to be a couple verbs that are normally regular here, and they are going to be irregular, so you want to keep an eye out for those. So, for example, abrir has never been irregular before, and it's abierto, se dice opened. Cubrir, cubierto, covered. Decir is going to be dicho, said or told. Describir is descrito, and that's described. Descubrir is descubierto. So you can see its connection to cubierto, cubrir, descubierto. Se dice discovered. Devolver, devuelto, returned. Envolver, envuelto, wrapped. Escribir, escrito, written. Now, there's one. Escribir has never been irregular. It's always been like an easy one. So now you have to be careful. When you go to use it in its participle form, it's going to be irregular. So you need to be careful there. That's not one that usually like raises a red flag when we go to use that verb, but with the past participle we do. Hacer becomes hecho, made or did. Morir, muerto, died. Poner, puesto, set. Resolver, resuelto, solved. Romper, roto, broken. And ver, visto, seen. Oh, wait, there's another one, sorry. Volver, vuelto, returned. So the way that I got to those English translation is, in my mind, I put the word have in front of it. In a second, I'll show you how to form that have. It's not to it's a different verb. So I'll show you that in a second. But that's how I got to those English meanings. So remember that we don't use this in the simple past. We don't say I opened and all of a sudden just say abierto. In fact, that's always been a kind of a red flag on when a student uses an online translator. All of a sudden they're using the past participle. And past participles rarely stand alone. Okay, so they always need a helping verb with them. So, abierto is opened, but it's going to be like, I have opened. I opened something, like that simple past, that would be just abrir. That would be the preterite tense. So, got to kind of be careful. This isn't just like a simple translation. It's part of a larger grammatical concept. Okay, so another note, these verbs, they're not really irregular. You just have to remember that there are some verbs that are called ido verbs or y con acento verbs. So verbs that end in er and have a vowel before the ending, accent the I in the participle form. There's not a whole lot of these, and they're verbs that you know. So caer ends in an er, vowel before is caído. Oh, that should be fallen. Oops, not believed. I didn't even catch that the 3 times I reviewed it. I'm sorry. Traer, traído, se dice brought. Creer, creído, there's believed. Again, caer should be fallen. Sorry. And then leer, leído, read. Okay, So those are all infinitives that end in ER and have a vowel right before. Now, please note, these are not IR verbs. So UIR verbs are regular. They don't accent their I's. So construir, huir, influir, concluir, destruir, there's a whole bunch of them. They're just normal. Chop off the IR, put ido on the end of it, don't accent it. It's only verbs that end in ER that do this. Okay, so another opportunity for you to practice some of these verbs. All right, watch out for number 3. Remember that it doesn't accent. All right, pause the video. Make sure that you put the English as well. So number 1 is caído, fallen. I got it right there. Number 2, dicho, said or told. Huir, huido, fled. Cubierto, covered. Morir becomes muerto, died. Suponer, supuesto, supposed. Leer, leído, read. Hacer, hecho, made. Escrito, remember for escribir is written, and ver is also irregular, visto. Okay, so there's an example of your irregular verbs. Just going to have to memorize those. All right, so let's spend a second talking about the present perfect. All right, now that we know how to form the past participle isn't going to stand alone. We're going to use it with the present of haber. Haber meaning to have in the sense of it's a helping verb. It's not to possess something. That's our old friend tener. Haber is to possess something. So you'll notice right off the bat that haber is irregular. Okay, we don't pronounce the H, so it is pronounced has, a, hemos, habéis, and an. And actually, the only regular form of the entire verb is the vosotros form. So that's our helping verb for have. And then we'll link it up with a past participle, and we'll be saying that the subject has verbed or the subjects have verbed. And that verbed is the past participle part. Okay? So let's take a look at a few of these. So I have eaten. Yo he comido. Then it's just putting puzzle pieces together. The yo form of haber plus the participle for comer. I have eaten. Yo he comido. So that is the present perfect of the verb comer. Here we have the present perfect of the verb estudiar. We have studied. Hemos estudiado. Here we have the present perfect of the verb salir. Elvis has left. Elvis ha salido. Now the next one I want to show you is what would we do if we had a reflexive verb, like if we used irse for he has left. So once you have a reflexive verb or any other pronoun, ha ido is the verb form. So it cannot be broken up. You cannot split it. So everything has to go before. You cannot attach to the end of a participle ever. So it always has to go before. So Elvis se ha ido, using irse. Here's another example with something that's negative as well as having a direct object pronoun it. So they haven't seen it. Ellos no lo han visto. All right? So they, then the negative, then the direct object pronoun, then han visto is the present perfect of ver. All right? And here's an example of one that has a double object pronoun. So you have given it to her. So tú se lo has dado. So tú is your subject. The se lo is the it to her. And then has dado is the to form in the present perfect of dar. So as an overview here, you can see that no matter what the reflexive or what the object pronoun is, does not matter. Always has to go before, never attached, okay? You cannot split haber and its participle ever. And haber and its participle makes up the present perfect. So all of these forms are the present perfect of their infinitive. A lot of students think it's the present perfect of haber. No, no, no. I have eaten is the present perfect of comer and the present perfect of estudiar, etc. So we will, of course, as you know, we will be practicing some more in class over the next few days. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them into the Google form. And don't forget to, oh shoot, I almost forgot. You'll want to pause the video here, all right, and answer these questions. So I'm going to go ahead and do that because I'm about out of time. All right, and we will discuss those more in class. And don't forget to do the Google form. Gracias.